Good evening, Council, Mayor. My name is Mike Fuller. I'm also the host of Plaster's Mic Drops, a civic accountability podcast focused on exposing irregularities in local governance and taxpayer spending. Tonight, I want to formally place the following on record for this council and for your legal team. Let's start with the basics. The gathering in is not protected under AB 172. That bill and the CCE expansion grant was created to fund the expansion of licensed senior and adult residential care facilities, specifically RCFEs and ARFs. The building at 1663rd Street was formerly licensed as a memory care RCFE, but at this time, TGI applied for funding dated on July 28, 2022, per the grant application. Gliding Ridge actually held a license, but it expired February 28, 2024. And as of June 30th, 2025, CDSS and Community Care Licensing confirms that there are no licenses approved, transferred, or applied. There is nothing. Till this day, they haven't even acquired one for a couple years. So if they put in their application in 2022, 8 days later after they were tabled for their letter of support, how come they still haven't acquired a license as required by the CCE grant? So at best, I don't really believe that they're attending or intending to apply for one at all. Their own grant application openly states medical respite facilities are not licensed. That single sentence disqualifies them from the grant category they applied under. Now let's talk about what they're operating. TGI calls it a low barrier medical respite. That's a contradiction in terms because low barrier means sobriety or no sobriety required, no obligation to participate in treatment, unrestricted come and go access, often minimal, and no formal intake or screening process. Medical respite, on the other hand, refers to short-term post-hospital clinical recovery, which in California requires oversight and, depending on services, an RCFE or health facility license. They are blending these terms to bypass regulation while delivering care that triggers licensing requirements. Let's go further. Their federal NPI registry, which tracks licensed medical providers, lists TGI only as case management. No RCFE license, no medical credentials, and no listing for medical respite care. Yet, in their grant application, they admit they will transport guests to medical appointments using TGI's own vehicle if Medi-Cal transportation isn't available. That is non-emergency medical transportation, and TGI is not licensed to perform NEMT services in the state of California, and that's a liability to the city and public safety. They've mentioned this publicly in Roseville that they do this as well, so it's safe to assume Auburn facilities are included. What's worse is the memory care facility was never rezoned. That parcel is only legally allowed to operate as a licensed RCFE by calling it something else and refusing to apply for the required license. TGI effectively bypassed public hearings, CEQA review, and any community input that would have happened had this been done transparently. And let's be honest, TGI and its supporters have repeatedly weaponized compassion while residents raise legitimate concerns and questions about licensing, zoning, public safety. So we're called anti-homeless, but I can say this plainly: compassion without compliance is not care, it's chaos. So no vulnerable person should be housed in a facility that skirts every law under the banner of good intentions. If that is allowed to stand, we're setting a dangerous precedent where any organization can misuse state grant funds, skip licensing, bypass zoning, and call it medical care, with no regulation, no transparency, and no accountability. That's not governance, that's negligence. Plaster's Mic Drops is continuing to track every document, every license, and every contradiction. And I'm happy to share every piece with this council and your legal team. Thank you for standing up for the city and doing what's right.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that very much. Is there anybody else in the chamber who would like to make a public comment on an item not on the